We have late breaking news. It is now Thursday morning. We recorded Tort Talk on Monday morning, and we usually drop it on Thursday because we have a little bit of editing to do. But this is such breaking news that we wanted to make sure that we got it to you this week as quick as we possibly can. Late yesterday afternoon in Los Angeles, the Lanier Law Firm Social Media Victims Law Center got a verdict back in the social media addiction trial. We had a win for the plaintiffs. The jury came back and they awarded $6 million to the plaintiff for this Bellwether trial. What does that actually mean and how does it break down? Well, we had $3 million in compensatory damages, $3 million in punitive damages. The jury found that Meta was 70% liable and Google or YouTube was 30% liable. We had $3 million in compensatory, $3 million in punitive for a $6 million award for the plaintiff in this case. This is a huge, huge win because we got both the compensatory damages and we got the punitive damages. This will change the way that platforms are designed in the future to prevent, hopefully, the damages that are being done to the children that are getting addicted and having mental health issues with these platforms. It is the first of hopefully many wins for the plaintiffs in the social media addiction trials, both in state court and in the MDL. And it was great to see Matt Bergman, Mark Lanier walk out of the courthouse with a huge win. And we will see what that means. It's going to be all over mainstream news today. I saw it start hitting the wire last night. We'll hear what Mark Lanier has to say. We'll hear what Matt Bergman has to say. I'm sure they're going to be all over the press. If you missed it, make sure you watch my interview with Matt Bergman that we did. I believe it was the first or the second day of the trial, right before Adam Mosseri testified. You can click that link here and jump right to that episode and watch my sit down with him. It was about an hour discussion of what he thought was going to happen in the trial and what a win would mean for the plaintiffs and the future of what social media will be in the world. On next week's Tort Talk, we're going to talk in detail about what this verdict actually means. We'll get all the details as they're coming out in the press today, tomorrow, over the weekend. When we record Tort Talk next week, we will be prepared to discuss what this actually means for this litigation. We will see you then.
Welcome to Tort Talk. I am Mark Ryu and joined as always by John Robinson and Joe Fantini. We have an exciting show for you today. We're previewing the JPML hearing on Dupixent, tracking the explosive growth of the Depo-Provera MDL, and breaking down a new study on the weight loss drugs and vision loss. There's a lot to cover. Let's get into it. If your law firm's marketing is not helping drive signed cases, what exactly is it doing? At RR Digital, we build for the outcome that actually matters. SEO that gets you found, paid ads that bring in qualified leads, and social media that builds trust even before the first call is even made. RR Digital was built to help law firms grow, and signed cases is the metric that we care about. Ready for more cases? Let's talk. More information at rrdigitalmedia.com. Back to the pod. All right, moving on to our second topic. The second judicial panel of multi-district litigation of 2026 is later this week, with one key case involving the drug Dupixent on the agenda. What is this medication used for, and why are plaintiffs seeking centralization?
Like you mentioned there, Mark, we have the judicial panel multi-district litigation meeting at the end of March. The one main case that everybody's focusing on is this medication that surprisingly somehow has multiple applications. It's been around for almost about 10 years now, and we're seeing that it's being used a lot to treat eczema is kind of the most common application we're seeing right now. We're alleging that this medication can either cause or enhances a rare type of cancer, a T-cell type of cancer that we saw pop up some in the Roundup cases. And there's about 20 cases that are pending. So that gets us over that numerosity requirement. We have these commonality of facts and injuries with the same defendants. All of the plaintiffs use the same medication. They're all over the country. The defendants obviously don't want it centralized, but I think we'll end up having an MDL formed. Should be the beginning of April when we hear about this one. Right now, indications are that this isn't going to be a giant mass tort. I think we'll have a couple thousand. Maybe we can get to 5,000 cases total, but it'll be exciting to have a new MDL formed in a couple weeks here.
A lot of the momentum here is being pushed by Levin Papantonio and the MTMP crew that did a webinar last week. I know a lot of attorneys are asking questions right now about that particular litigation, and I expect that we're going to learn more, obviously, at the JPML, but also at MTMP. As we know, Levin Papantonio already investigating it and some other firms as well.
Yeah, they're definitely in on it. So is Beasley Allen, kind of all the firms you'd expect moving forward with this. Annapol Weiss, I know they're in on it as well. So seems like it's a pretty strong case based on the science. Very rare signature injury, which we like in the mass torts instead of focusing on 20 cancers like we did in the beginning of Zantac. So it seems like the science is there. Seems like the injuries are there. Deserving clients. Hopefully we'll get it centralized and maybe even the docket can move fast like we've seen in some of these other mass torts. Who knows?
Coming back to Depo-Provera, which we've been talking about for the past few weeks, it's obviously one of the busiest and most active mass torts right now. We saw over 500 new cases filed in the MDL last week alone. Where do we stand in terms of the two current biggest issues that we're facing, the preemption and the expert discovery?
Yeah, those are the biggest issues pretty much in any litigation. But we were talking a couple weeks back how there was a huge filing increase with Depo. There was 1,000 cases in a month, and now we're seeing 500 in 1 week alone. So the litigation's definitely picking up steam. The judge has a December date for the initial trial. We'll be able to see if that holds. But the two pending issues really are the preemption. The judge let us know that it's under advisement. It's fully briefed. We're just waiting for a decision. I think we're going to actually get that sometime in April. It should be a slam dunk, being that the label got updated with the warning we said should have been on there the whole time. Kind of defeats the defendant's argument there. And then the expert general discovery is wrapping up. I believe the last day for the general expert discovery was March 20th. So we'll really be able to focus forward, going on, get some Daubert motions filed, get some hearings on that, see what comes in and what doesn't. But momentum's really building. This has actually been a rocket docket. No mass tort has ever moved this fast. So hopefully we can learn a lot from this and use it as an outline for the future mass torts. But we're getting the numbers up there, and we'll have some more positive momentum the next couple months.
Moving on to our next topic, NAION cases are heating up, and a new study on this issue appears to indicate that medication made up of semaglutide face higher risk of developing this terrible disease. What exactly did this breaking study show?
Yeah, so this is an injury that kind of came on to our radar towards the end of 2025. We ended up getting multi-county litigation centralized in New Jersey in state court level, and then also in the MDL, we have this injury that's running parallel to the gastric injuries. And so what we've really been trying to figure out is, what's the doses that's associated with this injury? Is it a specific type of this GLP-1 that causes these injuries? And this new study that you just mentioned, Mark, it's showing that there's more than a twice increased likelihood of developing this stroke of the eye, is what we're calling it, when you're using Ozempic or Wegovy. So it looks like those two medications are really linked to this specific eye injury. It seems to have to do with their chemical buildup and what they're made of. So that's something we're going to be paying attention to. But it looks like this doc is going to be filled with the Ozempic and Wegovy medication cases as opposed to some of the other ones out there.
Looking at these weight loss drugs, which people are taking to help reduce their weight, some of them are just exceptionally, some people really need to lose the weight for health reasons, and then to have this completely out of left field condition causing blindness in some cases. It's rare, but it is happening, and it looks like there's a pattern that's starting to emerge here. So two different directions still going on in this weight loss litigation, both with the eye injuries and with the gastrointestinal injuries.
Yeah, it's like you're saying, you use the medication to lose a couple pounds, maybe get some of your blood pressure, diabetes under control. Nobody would trade that for losing their vision, right? You need your vision with everything you do. If there was any warning at all that this could happen, nobody would take the medication. That's why they don't have the warning on there. And now it's good that we're finally, learning about it, seeing what the cause is. Hopefully we can prevent the future cases.
Another exciting week in mass torts. Well, everyone, make sure you like and subscribe for the channel. Thank you again, Joe and John, and we'll see everyone in next week's episode.
Bow, 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 bow. Play that music.